I worked for 4 weeks, and I would like to talk about today about recurring payments in Drupal 7. So recently I wrote a blog post about this. That's the URL. You might want to look at it if you're interested in links and further details. So what are recurring payments? Recurring payments are simply paying for something regularly, like for subscriptions. You pay every month or every week. You just so doing this payment in a periodic way. Usually, you when you do this for subscriptions, for example, if you are selling some digital content on your site and you are publishing new content regularly, you might want to create a subscription so that customers can access these contents buying the subscription. And there are many kinds of recurring payments. Like there is prepaid billing, where you, as a customer, pay in advance for that resource. You can do post-paid billing, where the customer pays afterwards. You can do prorated billing. It's a case when, for example, the subscription is valid for 1 month, and the purchase happens in the middle of the month. Then you just pay half the price. And that's of course meter billing, where billing is based on usage. How many videos you have looked at, or how many articles you read. And recurring payments have common data to store the recurring payment-related information. It's like the recurring period and fee. So that is, for example, recurring period is 1 month. The customer pays the amount every month. And the fee is the amount he pays. There can be a trial period and fee. So if you want to trick the customers to buy the subscription, you might want to say that for the first 10 days it's free, and that's a trial period and fee. And in some cases the recurring payment might expire, so you might want to add an end date. And what are the problems to handle these recurring payments? So there are a lot of quite difficult problems. So maybe the first one is credit card data. How you handle credit card data? If you only have single payments on your site, you do not have to store credit card data in any way. But if you are doing recurring payments, you are charging the customer's cards regularly. So in a way you have to access the customer's credit card. And since credit card data is a very sensitive information, it's very hard to manage this data in a secure way. So you probably want to use a service for that. So you want your users to be able to manage their subscriptions. If a customer subscribes to a subscription, you want to enable them to cancel the subscription, or if there are more subscriptions, there are subscription levels, like a silver subscription is a base subscription, and there are more advanced subscription levels like gold, platinum subscriptions, then you might want to enable your customers to change between these subscriptions and upgrade and downgrade between them. You might want to handle refunds. If something goes wrong and the customer is complaining, then you want to give back their money. Dunning is a very special process. Recurring payments is the process that kicks in when a payment fails for some reason. For example, the credit card expires, and you try to charge the credit card and you can't because it's expired, or it doesn't have enough money on it, or the credit card number is wrong, or for any reason, or there's no internet connection, or so it can be anything. And usually you don't want to just cut the subscription in these cases, because then you lose the customer very easily. But you want to warn him first, and then there's a process that needs to be handled in these cases. You might want to handle discounts and coupons for recurring payments as well, just like in any other case. Account management for recurring payments. The customers probably need an account to manage their subscriptions, and this account has some data that needs to be managed, like passwords or email addresses, and invoicing, yes, and billing to send invoices to the customer. So when we were first trying to implement some recurring functionality for a customer, we made a research. What are the possibilities in Drupal for recurring payments? And actually that's what I would like to show you today. We found three possible ways to do recurring payments in Drupal 7. And the first way is using the Commerce Recurring Framework module. The second one is using the Commerce License module. And the third one is using third-party service like Recurly or Chargify. But there are many services. So I would like to just go through these possibilities and tell the cons and pros, and try to give some guidelines in the end in which scenario which one is the best choice. So the first is so what are the points to consider when deciding between these possibilities. One of them is stability. If, for example, you are using a module that is only in development, then you never know what happens. Flexibility. So Drupal Commerce is a very flexible framework. While using an external service, your hands might be bound, and later it might not be that easy to extend the functionality. The cost to implement is how much code you need to write, how much site building and clicking around on the sites you need to do, and also the cost to maintain is a very important point. So if you write more custom code, it's much harder to maintain for the customer, and while you are using service, it's usually less expensive. So I just go through these three possibilities. is from Bucuresti, and it just has those recurring payments, nothing more. It's only in development, so it's I think the last commit was in December, so it's quite actively maintained, but still it's only development, there's no stable release. And what it does, it's creating a recurring entity that has fields for the recurring fee and period, the trial fee and period, there's an optional end date, and it is referencing the commerce order entity that has recurring products in it. And I would like to demo this a bit. It's really simple, you don't need to do any coding. I don't know why I will use it on hand. So I made some preparations already. I created some products on a Drupal 7 site. One of them is a simple product. It's just a cup, so it's not recurring usually. And there's another product. It's a recurring product type, and it's called subscription. So I just show what the fields of the subscription product are. It has an initial price because there's a trial, so that's the trial period. It's an initial price and then initial period of 10 days. And after these 10 days, the recurring price kicks in, and every 30 days, the customer's credit card will be charged the recurring price. And yeah, it changes to 10 days, $10. Save the product. And the other, the cup product is a simple one. It just has a title and the price. Nothing more, it's a basic commerce product. So I go to this site as a customer, and here you can see this cup and subscription product. Just ignore the recurring product for the time being. And I would like to buy both of them, so I open them. I click add to cart. It's $10. Just displaying some other data that is not formatted. And I go to checkout. So what you see is here, that's my shopping cart. I have a subscription card in my shopping cart. One of them is a recurring product, and the other one is not a recurring product. I just fill in the billing information. So what you need to make sure when implementing such a solution that the payment gateway module has to support commerce carbon file, because carbon file will take care of charging the customer's credit card every month. So that's the commerce carbon file test payment gateway. I just bought these products. And now, if I go to orders, I refresh. I see that I paid $30 and it's a pending status as it recurring framework does is that it is creating a recurring entity if the order contains a recurring product. And you can see here that the due date is in 10 days because the trial period was 10 days. So what I do is treat this recurring entity into thinking that its due date has passed. So I set it to yesterday. Then it will think that he needs to charge the customer's credit card. I save this recurring entity and I run Chrome. And now what's going to happen is that the recurring framework module will create another order that only contains the recurring product, not the cup. If I refresh this orders list, and nothing happens.
You didn't save the entity, you not have the validation.
I didn't save it. Okay. Thanks. Okay, and then I run Chrome again. And then, hopefully, yeah, so a new order appeared here, and you can see that has payment details for some reason. But the point is that it only contains the subscription, not the cup. And it should be, I don't know why the payment fails, it should be okay. So that's how the recurring framework works. You don't have to code anything, it's for very simple use cases, it's enough and it works great. The next possibility is using commerce license. It's created by Bojan from Commerce Guys, and we have the feeling that this is the recommended way to do recurring payments in Drupal 7. So commerce license is more than just recurring payments. It's trying to create a framework for accessing any resource. So it comes with a license entity, and you actually need to code your own logic for your own resource. For example, if you are selling organic group memberships on your site, then there's this commerce license OG module that creates this plugin. Or if you are selling nodes, then there's another module. But in a general case, if you can sell external resources or anything else, you need to write a plugin to handle that. And there's another module, this commerce license billing module, which is in beta, that handles the actual recurring payments. And the third one is third possibility is using a third-party service. I just show you how it works with Recurly. So if you sign up to Recurly as an administrator, then you get this user interface where you can set up subscription plans. For example, a silver subscription plan means that the customer will pay $20 every 30 days. And the gold subscription plan is bought, then the customer will pay $30 and so on. It's made for recurring payments, but you can do single payments with Recurly as well. You need to treat recurring customizing the product. And you can set up many things. There are simple possibilities to make coupons and discounts. You have dunning management, MailChimp integration. So there are many things that you don't need to worry about if you are using recurly. The problem is that these services don't have a Drupal commerce integration. So you get a link for if you want to get started very quick, you just get a link and put that on your site, and if your customer clicks it, then they go to a recurly checkout page where they add their data, and they can buy the card. They can buy the product this way. So the problem with this is that, for example, there's no cart. You need to buy each product separately, which can be quite tiring for customers, not really user-friendly. Yeah, I have already told this one. Right. And you can set up a redirect link so that the customer will be redirected to your page. But still, you on your Drupal site, you cannot see the order that has been made. So it has nothing to do with Drupal commerce, and you don't get the goodies of Drupal commerce at all. So you see, there's no new order created. Also, if you want to display your products, you need to create them on recurly as well, and as well as on your Drupal site. So you need to synchronize them, which is also much rare. So there's an API for these third-party services that you can implement to create some more sophisticated integration. But it's a lot of work and coding. So I just sum up, I think. So commerce recurring framework is good if you only want to handle recurring payments and nothing more. And for example, if you want to manage the access to the resource yourself, it's really fast to set up. It works together with Drupal commerce and is very flexible. You can easily extend it later. If you don't want to code, it's a good choice. And but you have to keep in mind that you need to handle the risks of a dev module, and you need to take care of all the problems of recurring payments yourself. This is also true for commerce license, but it's a more stable release, and this is the recommended. I think this is the recommended way to do recurring payments in Drupal commerce. Although we opted for recurring framework when finally we made the decision. It needs some coding, not much, to write this commerce license plugin. And using the third-party service is, I would say, reliable. Not as if our code is not reliable, but still, it's not your problem if they find a bug, or you find a bug. It's not your problem, but it's the service's problem to fix it. And they usually have tests, and it's more tested to, so it's more reliable in this way. You don't need to maintain your code if you are just using these links. However, if you are implementing an API integration, then it can be even more code than just using Drupal commerce. Yeah, they have a monthly fee, and it can be really big. I just show you some pictures. These are quite old. These are from a slideshow of Quick Sketch, who made a recurring module for Drupal, and it's showing that, for example, recurring has a monthly fee of $100. So you can make a graph like this. On the horizontal axis, you have the monthly number of transactions, and if one transaction is $20, then you have to make many transactions to make recurring work using. So you can see that it starts at $100. So if you have no traffic on your site at all, you have to pay $100 to recurring. And then there's a per transaction fee as well. So it's going up as there are more and more transactions. And there are several, you can use other services, and you can see that recurring is not that cheap even for a large number of transactions. But if the transaction is $200, for example, then you see that recurring is the best choice to use an external service in a business, from a business perspective, because it's for the first transaction you get the money for the monthly fee, and from that on the per transaction fee is not that high. But these are quite old data, so you need to check if you want to use this. Thank you for your attention. If there are any questions, try to answer it.
How are you handling 3D secure?
What?
3D secure from this, I think, where you have to input a password when you make a payment. And if you're not enabling 3D secure, then you have to support some risks.
If the card type allows you to store card information, then it can bypass the secure at each transaction.
Yeah, and isn't this increasing the risks you have to support from Visa?
Yes, that's why you choose the sites carefully where you allow this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually use Commerce Stripe for Stripe integration, and so the credit card data doesn't go through Drupal. It goes straight to.
That was my second question. Where's the data stored from the client?
Yeah, so Stripe stores the actual credit card data, and you only have I think the last 4 digits of the card, and so it's PCI compliant.
It's like a token.